Let's talk about virtual method invocation. Now this makes inheritance, this makes the language very powerful. Now back to our scenario. So we have got manager extends employee, and we have discussed that we can use the is-a relationship to describe um, the statement. The statement is correct. Manager is an employee. Now Java is a strongly typed language, which means that all variables in Java has a type. So when I declare a variable like that, M has a type, and it simply means that M can only store the address of a manager object. When I declare a variable like that, E has a type as well. E's type is employee, and it means that E can only store the address of an employee object. So my question is this possible? Definitely. E is of type employee. It can be used to store the address of an employee object. And the object which is created is really an employee object, so no problem. This statement is also no problem. We have seen this many times. M stores the address of a manager object. Now, this is the tricky part. Is this allowed? I have a variable called E, and it is used to store the address of a manager object. Now, if you go back to my slide, this is diagram. A manager is an employee, and E is allowed to store the address of an employee. And what is created? An instance of manager, which is an employee. Okay, which is an employee. So this statement is valid and it will compile. Okay, in this case, it won't compile because E is declared twice. Okay, this will compile. Now, what about line 5? Alright, M has been declared as a variable of type manager, which means that it can only store the address of a manager object. But what is actually created? An employee object. And I was saying just now that although manager is an employee, it is not correct to say that an employee is a manager. Correct? So you're trying to store an employee object, the address of an employee object, in the variable M, which is not designed to store the address of a employee object. Hence, this statement will result in a compilation error. Okay, let's take a look at the compilation error, which will result oh, it's got to do with my constructor in manager. Hold on. I have a constructor. I have only one constructor in manager, and it's not the default constructor. So I need to pass in an initial bonus and initial salary. What about employee? Do we have a constructor? There's only one constructor in employee, the one which takes in the initial salary. Okay, let's try again. Compile. See, look at the error. On line 5, it says incompatible types. Because you're trying to stuff the address of employee object into the variable M, which is designed to store the address of a manager object only, and an employee object is not a manager object. Alright, so you get the compilation error incompatible types.